Ever feel like you're in a slump? You want to get fit, healthy, maybe study or learn a new skill, but just don't know where to start? Well, the best place to start is to have a finish, to set a goal. And when it comes to goal setting, I know just the man to talk to. Gerrard Gosen knows goals. Being born blind has not hindered him from achieving any of them. Let's just take a look at his checklist of accomplishments. He's a 3-time Para-Olympian runner, a gourmet chocolatier, a passionate philanthropist who's co-piloted an ultralight plane around Western Queensland, a CEO, a contestant on Dancing with the Stars, and if all those things aren't enough, an adventurer who's even attempted Mount Everest. It's clear where some people might see obstacles and barriers, Gerrard sees challenge and opportunity. Everything you've done through your career and through your life, have you set goals the whole time?
Yeah, I think for me it's pretty important, the goals I've set. There always had to be goals, and being a person who's totally blind, it was about making those goals known, because my goals have always been about teamwork.
How important is it to make specific goals about what you want to do?
I think for me, throughout my career, whether it be climbing Everest or running from Cairns to Brisbane or competing at a Paralympic Games, they're all goals that provided a sense of discipline, because you can't just turn up to a start line and have a vague notion of what you're trying to achieve. I think having a goal with one end points at times can be disconcerting, whereas having those small steps along the way can make that goal so much easier to achieve. It provides us with not only the discipline, but also in the direction of how we're trying to achieve that goal.
How hard is it for someone who may not have used goal setting before?
I think it's about finding the passion. It's about finding the actual opportunity and the actual passion. Goals don't come, I suppose, second nature to us as human beings, but they provide us with something to function and also inspire us to achieve. So the goals for me in Dancing with the Stars were coming to grips with all the other unseen things that go for dancing, the expression, the way you actually hold your body. I only can go on how I feel, and that's something very important about goal setting. It's about how we feel internally and not what we see from others. I think, Gillian, for me, goal setting applies to everyone, regardless of the sport or the career or the activity you're trying to achieve. They're all just as equally important to everyone.
Setting a goal is one thing, but where do you start? How do you follow through? I'm meeting with health and happiness expert Claire Massingham to shed light on the matter. We're talking goals, so where do you start?
The best place to start is with the why. It's like, why do you want to achieve this goal? Because that's really important. Once you've got the why around it, then you're more likely to succeed.
How do you make yourself stick to the goals? I think that would be something that most people would probably relate to, that you might have these ideas, but how do you stick to it?
I know. It's really important that you have a process in mind and you frame it. So the first thing is you've got to frame it properly. And it's really important to frame it in a very positive way, because if you're doing that, you're moving towards something. It can be a 3-step process, actually. So the first thing is knowing the why. And then the second one is you've got to make sure that the goal sticks.
So how do you make sure the goal sticks?
So a lot of people may have heard of SMART goals, which means that it's very specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's realistic, and it's timely, which means you've got some timelines around it so you know where you're moving to.
It's a great way to remember it as well. Very smart. Okay, how do we keep ourselves accountable and make sure we follow through?
An action plan is crucial. So once you've got your goal written out, an action plan comes in behind it. And when you're doing that action plan, it's really important that you draw on your strengths, because when you're working with your strengths, you're likely to succeed. And you need to identify your support network, because those people are going to come in behind you and bolster you and manage to get you there on the path to success.
And it's something you can go back to as well and check on it and making sure you're doing as you promised to do.
Absolutely. I always encourage people to write it down and display it somewhere where it's in your face all the time. Because sometimes we start at A and we think we're going to achieve something by a straight line, we're going to get to B. But life happens and there's twists and turns all around. So it's really important to remain very fluid and flexible with that action plan and just adjust it as need be.
I set goals all the time and normally I get there.
I don't set very long goals, but yeah, short-term goals.
I don't particularly set any goals.
Not really, not set a health goal, but I do like to stay healthy.
I had a personal goal to shed a fair bit of weight.
To be more active.
So I've recently just started a boot camp to just maintain my exercise routine, keep those muscles going.
I do have a goal that I haven't been able to get to. I want to be able to walk up Castle Hill again, so that's probably unlikely, but I do go up it in my chair.
Most of my current goals, I try and set something really achievable.
So, what about setbacks? My Health for Life coach, Megan Cleary, knows all about the challenges people may face with goal setting and how to overcome them.
The biggest mistake people make is generally that they have too big a goal or too many things that they really want to achieve. Lots of people will be all excited and motivated and want to start an exercise routine, start eating healthy, drop the alcohol, get to bed earlier and start meditating. When you've got a long list of things that you really want to achieve, the problem is we end up feeling overwhelmed with all these changes. And when we're overwhelmed, we spin and we end up doing nothing. So the real key is to focus in on one, maybe two areas that you really want to make some change in. The first step is generally the hardest, but once we do that and get going, it's really empowering. And with that empowerment comes motivation, and then we can keep going.
You're an experienced health coach. Do you really think setting goals makes a difference?
Setting goals really gives you that map of where you want to go. So it is really a big step forward from just saying, I want to do this. It really has you sitting down and thinking about it, thinking about the why. What's the real driver here for wanting to make change? And when you can sit and think about it, you're more likely to achieve it. Start where you're at. If you haven't exercised for a number of months or years, you really want to bring it back and start small. 2 10-minute walks is way better than 0 walks, tell yourself. And it's about getting yourself out the door and finding the right day and time that's really going to work for you. Setbacks are going to happen. Factor them in. Absolutely, they will be there. That doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. It just means that you are learning something new, you're finding where it's going to fit, and you've got to remember these new things. The important thing is not to give up.
So it would seem when it comes to hitting that goal, there are many benefits that go beyond getting the task at hand done. Goal setting is good for keeping motivated, a healthy mindset, and that all-important well-being.